Well, guys, unfortunately, the weekend is over. But not to worry, we're here to help you out, right? It's Monday morning, so you guys should know what that means. But this is our third week, so you should know, right? Here's your Monday morning memory from Pugliese Speed Shop. All right, guys, so we're back down the bar. And unless you notice the sign I had behind me in the intro, really no difference. But it's only the third episode, so we'll get there, all right? For right now, we're going to concentrate on these books. Now, I say these books because, other than the obvious, there's definitely some similarities. So, we're going to start here on mine. We talked about the Trans Am last week. Now, we're going to talk about my second car, which actually wasn't even a car. But my 1983 Jeep Cherokee. See, that's got the nice woodsy look behind it from the Poconos. That was our house in the background. And a nice little shot of her. I mentioned the boulder last episode that me and my brother almost hit the first time I took the Trans Am out. It's right there behind the Jeep. So look at the size of that guy. Yeah, she might have caused a little damage. All right, so over here to my dad's book. And marking the page did not work. Anyway, here we go. So, there's that studly guy again. But this one wasn't mine, but it was the first thing I was like a big part of the restoration on. Me and my dad did this thing. 78 Jeep Cherokee. We bought this from Chippy's uncle, actually. And we did a ton of work on it. And what's kind of funny is because of the similarities, people always thought when I had my Jeep out, I think that's all the pictures of it yet. When I had my Jeep out, they thought, because I thought we finished it, which we did, but we had sold it, and my dad really liked them. So we'll sit down and talk about it. Yo, so if you guys know anything about the Poconos, and you can probably tell from the picture, it's a little rugged, right? It's the mountains, ski resorts everywhere, tons of snow, black ice, regular ice, wintry mix, all the fun things about driving in the winter. Couple that with a 77 Trans Am with a 400 in it and a 17-year-old kid that likes to go fast, you now have a sled, right? So my father was very aware of this. And my brother was coming up right behind me, and he had a 66 Mustang. So he's trying to figure out a way to keep us out of the ditch. Clearly, we had that problem earlier. He don't want to repeat it. So he was at his dealership. He's got his eyes open. He always did, right? And somebody traded in this 83 Jeep Cherokee. Like it was clean. It didn't have that nice paint on it at the time. But it was rust free. Ran and drove great. And he loved these things, man. So other than the one that you saw he had built, me and him built together, before that, back in the 80s, he had a brown Cherokee Chief that he loved. I mean, he just kept getting them, and then somebody offered him too much money, and he'd sell it. And he was kind of that, he was at where he wanted one again. And it comes in last year, the big body style, too. So that's something, right? So he's like, huh, all right. He picks it up, and he takes it home. Going home, the transmission goes. So he's like, all right. And I believe the dealership was like, hey, we'll help you out with it, like, because whatever. So we got it rebuilt. And then me and him did some body work out. We actually used the body shop at the dealership, that was pretty sweet. It's the first time I got to do that. And we had it primed up, taped, and ready to go. Sent it to Mako for a quick paint job. That's what they were like $100 or something, right? And then my dad did all the striping that was on it and everything because he was good at that stuff. Then we thought it was for us, but it could have been my dad's. We didn't really, it was kind of in limbo. And I remember Christmas morning, we look outside the driveway, and there it is with the big bow. My dad was always with the surprises and theatrics and stuff, so it was cool. We're like, oh, all right, well, I guess that's answered our question, right? And so I started driving it, and I got a Jeep in the Poconos. We're going four-wheeling. I went out with Chris a couple times with his square body, and I was out with my buddies Derek and Elwood. They were brothers. Well, they're still brothers, but you know. And I got this thing stuck bigger than I don't know what. It was awful. It took Derek's Ranger and Elwood's Z71 to yank this thing out of there. And it wasn't running the best, but I kept kind of just, okay, it'll be fine. Actually, it was running fine. It wasn't shifting so good. And a couple more times that it was weak, guys. It just stayed weak. I mean, it was, I'm pretty sure I had a Mopar drivetrain in it, so that adds up. But I'm coming home from school one day, and I was right by my buddy Steve's house. And actually, I wasn't there yet. I was at Burgers and Company, which was like 3 miles from Steve's house. And done. It's over. And I was like, oh man. So I gotta get it off the road. There's all this back roads and stuff over there. Reverse worked. And I was a big fan of License to Drive. So if you ain't seen the movie.
Are they moving? I don't know.
Sounds like the transmission. Try another gear. Come on.
Mom?
Try low.
Don't worry. I'm just having a baby.
What was that?
Reverse works, Dad.
What are you doing? Max, you're going the wrong way. Look out! Where do people learn to drive?
So what I do is I throw this thing in reverse, and I drive it like a mile, 2 miles, whatever it was, I don't think I made it to Steve's house. I think I went to Leon's house, which is only like a block away. And I call my dad, and I tell him what happened. What'd you do to this transmit? Dad, I didn't do anything. I mean, I didn't do it right then. I probably did it earlier, but... So he's like, all right, so give me the number you're at, whatever. So he calls me back. All right, I got a tow truck coming. They're going to come get it. They'll tow it to the dealer, and we'll figure it out. I said, okay. He's like, so get it up to the main road. So I got to get back in this thing. And I drive it in reverse, I don't know how many miles, back to the main road. They come and get it. They, they tow it in and everything else. My dad comes home, I don't know, maybe next night or something like that. And he says, hey, it's going to be $400 to rebuild the trans. I said, I got $400. I mean, come on. And he's like, well, you want to play, you got to pay, right? Whatever analogy you use, but I think that was the one. But I was like, this thing sucked from the day we got it. And we knew the trans was bad, and he didn't want to hear it. So I said, okay. So I'm saving up some money. Maybe I saved $100. I don't know. I was working at a restaurant right there, a little development with it then. Saving my tips, And weekend comes up and my uncles come up. Uncle Pete and Uncle Joe. These two old Goombas from New York, like they, guys, you could have filmed a comedy show and these guys busting balls back and forth, right? They were awesome. So they're sitting there and they're like, oh, Joe, where's the Jeep? Because I was walking to work. I asked my mother to take her car or something. I said, the transmission went out. Your father got you something with a bad transmission? So they just start giving him the business, right? And he's like, hey, stop. He broke it. He's going to fix it. So like, how much money you need? I said, it's $400. $400? Oh, man. Hey, I give you a birthday gift this year? Boom. $100. What about New Year's? Hey, Yom Kippur. What? He's giving me, just making up things to give me money for it. And my father was like, would you two stop? Right? So we get the trans rebuilt. We're back in business, guys, right? Now, the whole time I did have the Trans Am, but I would shift the tags over, and I didn't have money to keep doing that back and forth either. So that's why I was waiting to get the Jeep fixed. So it's back on the road, but I didn't trust it. I didn't really trust the rebuild either because whoever took it for the test drive never realized that the speedometer wasn't hooked up. And that always bothered me. But either way, I hooked it up. It was whatever. So I started having some problems again. And now, it might have been when I was going... So I used to come into school every morning. We parked at the stadium. And it was like you come through the neighborhood a little bit. And it opened up to the parking lot. And I would rip 2 or 3 donuts, slam it in reverse, and do a burnout into my parking spot. That could somehow be what happened to the transmission. I'm not sure. I mean, we'll never be sure. But one morning I did that, and I throw it in reverse, and I stand on it, and I smoke the tires, and I stop, but it keeps going. All right? I end up, there's like a little flower bed thing. I jumped this railroad tie that was there, and boom, guys, I hit the stadium. All right? Put a hole in the wall, not like a huge hole, but like where the trailer hitch went through the thing, stucco broke, all this. Oh my God, I bent the trailer hitch up. It was an ordeal. So all they talked about is when I hit the school. I didn't actually hit the school. It was like an annex of, but I was like, wow, that's weird. And Anthony's like, what's the matter with you? You know, and I was like, I didn't mean to. There was a boulder thing all over again. So we end up, actually a couple days later, I'm at work and I do a similar thing into a parking spot, and it stuck again. And luckily I got it to stop because there was a drop. That would have been, I probably wouldn't be here making these videos. But I ended up taking a look at it. Actually, I think my dad told me. So I broke a motor mount, probably one of the many burnouts, and it was tweaked the motor and stuck the throttle linkage open. So $12 motor mount, we're back in business, right? But I was never crazy about it, if I'm being honest. It was my dad loved them. Now the same day, guy he worked with, Jimmy Miller, traded in like an 85, 86, whatever it was, Toyota pickup, 22R in it, maybe the 22RE, whatever. 5-speed, it was up on 33s. This was the very early 90s, guys. So the fact that it was like baby blue with a big pink heartbeat thing, that was dope, right? I was like, I need this truck. I wish we would have gone with that one. Because, man, I love that thing. I thought that was so cool. And I brought this. My dad kept telling me that Jimmy traded in. I was like, then why did we buy this Jeep? Because he loved it, right? So I was trying to find a way out of this thing. Because somehow, I think I broke the Trans Am again. I'm back down driving this thing during the summer. I started getting into trucks more. So I was like, well, Anthony loved it. He absolutely loved it. So my dad, somehow the Mustang went away. I forget what happened. I don't remember what happened with his car. Actually, I think it wasn't running. No, that's right. My brother Joey fixed it with a hammer, so it wasn't running anymore. But we, my dad ended up, at this point, he had an 85 GMC Jimmy. And it was cool. The last 15, 5-speed, V6, and he was going to give that to Anthony because he had bought something else. You guys see a trend here, right? So Anthony couldn't drive a 5-speed, to be honest. He's still not that good at driving a 5-speed. But he wanted a Jeep, so I said, we'll take the Jeep. He said, okay. So he takes the Jeep, gives me the Jimmy. We're both happy. Guys, about 2 weeks later, the frickin' Trans goes out again. And my old man he was on me. He's like, you traded your brother something you knew was going to break. And I said, Dad, we could go as far back as you gave it to me. You knew it was going to break. It's been breaking since you drove it home. He wasn't happy with that. But it was obviously a frustrating experience there. But he's like, he swore I knew it was going out. I don't think I did. That was a long time ago, but I just really wasn't crazy about the truck. Or actually, back then, we didn't know what an SUV was. It was registered as a station wagon. And I used to get a lot of crap for that from my buddies. You don't even have a truck, you got a station wagon. But, so he said, you're going to fix this transmission. You're going to pay for this. And I was like, I ain't paying for another transmission in this damn thing. I don't even like it. So he's like, well, you better, your brother needs a car, you better figure something out. So, guys, it couldn't have been any better. That day, somebody traded into his dealership an 80, I want to say 87, 86, 85, right around it, Cutlass Supreme. 307, automatic. Guys, this car was clean. It had it was a rebuilt motor, or whatever it was. It was inside and out was spotless. So they gave him $700. And I says, I'm buying that for Anthony. So Anthony ended up with the Cutlass. I ended up with the Jimmy. The Jeep was sitting off to the side. And I think we changed the fluid and the filter. We thought that was going to fix it. I don't think it did. And I believe the Mustang sat next to the Jeep for a little while. Those stories obviously go on. But that was the end of my escapade with the Jeep. And basically, guys, it cost me $700 to get out of it. But Anthony ended up doing the G-Body Club. So I think everybody wins. We'll get into what happened with the other ones probably on the next episode. We'll kind of keep it going. But in the meantime, hope you guys are liking the stories. And thanks for watching.